الذي يملأ الأرض قسطا وعدلا كما ملأت ظلما وجورا ولعنة الله على أعدائهم ومخالفيهم ومنكري فضائلهم من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. Everyone together, dua faraj. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد.
For the health and the appearance of Imam Mahdi, please have another loud salawat. فأسأل الله أن يرزقني طلب طارق مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. Loud salawat. Last night we started talking about this phrase from Ziyarat Ashura, where we say that, Ya Allah, we ask you to give us the rizq, the sustenance, the rest. Sisters, if there is noise, I would have to stop the lecture. And the problem is that the other people who are here to listen, you would be wasting their time. And that would be haqqun nas. I don't know how much haqqun nas would be on your shoulder if you're talking tonight. So please, thank you very much. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. We ask Allah Ta'ala to give us the rest, to endow me with the chance to avenge you, Imam Hussein, with the divinely supported Imam, who's Imam Mahdi. Now the first word in this phrase is rizq, and yarzuqani. We ask Allah to give us rizq, and we say that we have to understand the word rizq. Rizq is the bounties of Allah Ta'ala, which is constant. We humans are in need. We talked about this last night. We say that we humans are in need, and for everything we need rizq from Allah Ta'ala. And the concept of rizq, if you understand the concept of rizq correctly, then some of our spiritual sicknesses, for example, greed, would be washed away, would be gone, would be cured. Takabbur, arrogance, would be cured. Because if you believe that your raziq, your sustainer, provider is Allah Ta'ala, there is no reason when you make an achievement or success in life to be proud of yourself as if it is just you doing this. You know that this achievement comes from Allah, is the rizq of Allah. If you believe that Allah is your raziq, then you would not be greedy, because you know that your rizq is distributed and allocated by Allah Ta'ala. So there is no reason to be greedy anymore. He is my sustainer. Doesn't matter how much I give as my khums or zakat or sadaqah, He will provide me, continue to provide me. Another spiritual sickness that believing in the rest, in the raziqiyyat of Allah Ta'ala, in the fact that Allah is our sustainer, can cure, is the sickness of envy. Being jealous of others. being jealous of others. Have you thought about why we humans are jealous? If we were all the same, if we had same amount of money, looked the same clothing, same house, same car, same job, everything same, would there be any place for us to be jealous of others? No. When do we become jealous? It's when we start comparing our life to others. It's when we look at ourselves. Okay, I have a car which is for 2015. My friend has a car for 2020. Right? My house is worth $500,000. His house is worth $1 million. Right? We become jealous of others when we start comparing our life situation and status to other people. But what does Quran say? Quran says, لا تمدن عينيك إلى ما متعنا به أزواجا منهم. Allahu Akbar. If you believe that your Razak is Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and He is the one who is just, Adil. It's not me or you or anyone else distributing the risk. It is just God, Allah who is Adil, distributing and allocating the risk. If you believe in that, then you will not become jealous of others. Allah says, وَلَا تَوَدَّنَّ عَيْنَيْكَ. Something that is unfortunately very common in our society, especially in the society that we're living in. There are special TV stations for the things, for this special thing that the Quran tells us not to do. Quran says, لَا تَمُدَّنَّ عَيْنَيْكَ. Do not extend your glance toward what we have provided to certain groups. Do not extend your glance. There are certain TV stations for us to see what, for example, the celebrities have. How much money they have. What kind of house they have. What kind of car they drive. Right? Unfortunately, in this society that we're living, we're pushed towards this manner of looking at other people's situation. Which is exactly what Quran prohibited us. La tamuddanna aynak. Do not look, like how when an expensive car passes by, wow, do you see that motion? Wow, do you see that house? Wow, do you see what kind of clothing he was wearing? Quran says, do not do that. وَلَا تَمُدَّنَّ عَيْنَيْكَ. We have gifted people, we have given rest. And I know, Allah says, I know how much to give to who? Prophet says, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, now salawat. من رمى ببصره إلى ما في يد غيره كثر همه. The one who looks at other people's hands, what other people have, كثر همه. He starts $2,000. If you have a house that's worth $500,000, compare yourself with someone who doesn't have a house that's renting this house. Always compare yourself with someone who has less than you. There's a proverb in Farsi that says that someone only had one shoe for one of his foot. He has only one shoe to wear. And he was complaining to Allah, Ya Allah, I only have one shoe, I'm barefoot. As he was walking the street, he saw someone who had only one leg. And he was praising Allah, and thanking Allah. He said, how do you praise Allah and thank Allah? You only have one leg. He said, yes, I thank Allah. At least I had one leg. I could have had none of them. I could have been without any legs. So appreciate Allah Ta'ala for the things that you already have. In order to do that, you need to compare yourself with people who have less than you in regards to material sustenance. But when it comes to the spiritual sustenance, rest, compare yourself with someone who's higher than you, who does more than you. Do not compare yourself with someone who does less. If you're praying, do not compare yourself with someone who's not praying. Alhamdulillah, I'm praying. No. Compare yourself with who's also praying his mustahab prayers, who's praying Salatul Layl. If you're fasting the month of Ramadan, do not compare yourself with someone who's not even fasting. Compare yourself with someone who is fasting during the year. If you're paying charity and sadaqah and khums, Do not compare yourself with someone who's not paying. Compare yourself with someone who's paying a lot more than you. If you because we humans have to do these comparisons. We always do that. And a lot of times there's no way out of it for us. But if you want to do a comparison, do it this way. In the material sustenance, compare yourself with someone who has less than you. In the spiritual sustenance, compare yourself with someone who has more than you. Brothers, one of the things that we believe as Muslims and Shias is alam al-dha. Some of you may have heard about alam al-dha. It's one of the things that, alhamdulillah, we believe in that, and it solves a lot of shubahat, a lot of doubts in regards to our religion. And one of them is in regards to our rest. Why do we have different rest? Why? According to our narrations, our arzaq, our sustenance was allocated in alam al-dha. What is alam al-dha? Before the creation of this world, before the creation of humans and the universe and the sky and the earth and the planets, the sun, Allah Ta'ala, when He created Adam, ala nabiyyina wa alihi wa alayhi salam, He also created us as particles. Every single one of us, humans, from the time, every single one of the children of Adam, were created as particles. We're represented as particles. You may have heard this. Now, these particles, according to our narrations, were different in size, were different in light. The hadith says that, this is in Usul al-Kafi, that when Prophet Adam looked at the heavens and saw that his offspring are scattered around, each one represented by a particle, that means particle. Everyone represented by a particle, he said to Allah, Ya Allah, فَمَا لِي أَرَى بَعْضَ الضَّرِّ أَعْظَمْ مِنْ بَعْض. Why I see some of them are greater, bigger than the others. وَبَعْضَهُمْ لَهُ نُورٌ كَثِيرٌ وَبَعْضَهُمْ لَهُ نُورٌ قَلِيلٌ وَبَعْضَهُمْ لَيْسَ لَهُ نُورٌ. I see that some of them have less light, some of them are full of light, shining, some of them have no light, dark. Why are they different? They are my offspring, my children, represented by these particles, and I see them different. Allah said to Adam, I created them different. لَأَبْلُغَهُمْ فِي كُلِّ حَالَاتِهِمْ. I created them in different moods, situation, status, so that I would test them. So that I would test them with different moods. Adam said to Allah, Allah, I have a question. I have a question in mind. Can I ask you? Allah said, yes, go ahead, Adam. He said, Allah, my question for you is this. لو كنت خلقتهم على مثال واحد قدر واحد طبيعة واحدة وألوان واحدة وأرزاق سواء لم يكن بينهم تحاسد ولا تباغض ولا اختلاف. Allah, if you had created them the same, meaning same color, same size, same rizq, if you had given them same amount of rest, there would not be envy between them. There would not be hatred and differences between them. All of them would be same color, same size, same everything. So there would not be envy, they would not be jealous of each other. Why did you create them different, Allah? A question that a lot of us have in this world, that, Ya Allah, why are we different? I was born to a family that had much less money than my friend. My friend has much more money and can afford a much more expensive car than me because he was born in another family. Why people are different? Now listen to the answer of Allah Ta'ala. Before that, I request you to send a loud salawat. Allah said to Adam, Adam, بِعِلْمِي خَالَفْتُ بَيْنَ خَلْقِهِ. By my knowledge, it is by my knowledge that I made them different. I made them different in creation. Why Allah? Allah said, خَالَفْتُ بَيْنَ صُوَرِهِمْ وَأَجْسَامِهِمْ وَأَلْوَانِهِمْ وَأَعْمَارِهِمْ وَأَرْزَاقِهِمْ. I created them different in image, their age, their life, their qadr, their rizq, the sustenance that they get. فَجَعَلْتُمْ مِنْهُمُ الْعَالِمِ وَالْجَاهِلِ وَالْفَقِيرِ وَالْغَنِيِّ وَالْسَهِيِّ. Some of them are ignorant, some of them are scholars, some of them are poor, some are rich, some are healthy, and some are disabled. I created them different. Why? Allah said to Adam, Adam, the reason for that is I wanted the one who is sahih and healthy. Look at the one who is disabled and sick and say to Allah, Ya Allah, I could have been created like that person. I thank you, Alhamdulillah, for my health. The one who is sick and disabled looks at the person who is healthy and says that, Ya Allah, you created the other human being healthy. He turns to me, he does not forget me. He turns to me and asks me, Ya Allah, please give me health as well. And he would be patient in the problem, in his sufferings, and I give him reward for his sufferings. I created a person as faqir and poor so that he would look at the person who's ghani and rich and say, Ya Allah, and turns to me and takes his hand up and asks me, Ya Allah, please give me more rest. So he doesn't forget me. I created the person who's ghani, rich, so that he looks at the person who's faqir and says that I could be in his position poor. Allah, I thank you for the blessings that you have given me. Allah said, I have created them different so they would always return to me. If they were all equal, they would not return to me. The fact of the matter, when it comes to the rest, that we have to understand is that Raziq is adil, is just. May Allah give blessings, send His blessings to all those who have passed away. My teacher, Marhum Ayatollah Mujtahidi, he used to give an example. He used to say that in the morning when the doctor comes to the hospital and sees his patients, he would prescribe for the first patient that this patient should not eat anything today. Nothing. No water, no soup, nothing. Another patient, he should drink only water. Another patient should only eat soup. Another patient should eat chole kebab, for example. He prescribes food differently. Now, he used to say that if the person who gets nothing on that day complains, starts complaining to the doctor, what kind of doctor are you? You're giving me nothing, and you're giving that patient kebab. Come on. It's not fair. What would you say to that patient? Come on. Be logical. Be rational. He's a doctor. He knows that you have a surgery today. You should not eat anything today. And he knows that that person needs energy and needs to eat his kebab. Allah wa ta'ala gives us different amount of rest by His knowledge. Unfortunately, unlike what is promoted in this culture, in this society, that the more you have, the better person you are, the more money you earn, the better person you are, right? That's not the case all the time. Tha'labah came to, was one of the companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, now salawat. Tha'labah came to Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, I'm very poor, I need a lot of more money to support my family. Prophet said a very beautiful saying. He said, قَلِيلٌ تُؤَدِّي شُكْرًا خَيْرٌ مِّن كَثِيرٍ لَا تُطِيقُ. Allahu Akbar. This hadith shows that our mentality about wealth and money is all wrong. That the more we have, the better. No. Prophet said, قَلِيلٌ تُؤَدِّي شُكْرًا. If you have small amount of money that you can appreciate and thank Allah for what you have, is better than having a lot of wealth but not being able to appreciate for what you have. He insisted, Prophet, I want more. I don't care. I want more. Please pray for me that I get more. So Prophet prayed for him. He was poor. One day he got one animal, one sheep. Then the next day, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly, he got very rich. First, he used to come every day for every prayer to the masjid. Then, he used to come once a day. Then, once a month. Until it came the ayah, the verses in regards to zakat. And Prophet sent the Muslims to go and ask Tha'laba to give his own share of zakat. Tha'laba said, Prophet is now asking us to pay jizya. Jizya is what the Christians used to pay at that time. I'm not going to pay my zakat. And he became kafir and he left Islam. Sometimes, brothers and sisters, it's not good for us to have more. And Allah knows how much we need. So to appreciate Allah Ta'ala for what He has given you. He is adil. Inna al-mal maqsoomun maghmoon. Who distributed? Allah Ta'ala, who is adil. Quran said, وَالَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا سَنَسْتَدْرِجُهُمْ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. A lot of times, we see people who are not faithful. They even deny Allah Ta'ala. They kafir. They are, they even ridicule Islam. But every day, they gain more and more and more and more. Billions of dollars. And some Muslims say that, look at that person. He must be such a great person that Allah is giving him so much money. Look, he is spending so much money for those charities in Africa or somewhere else. Now, because of the charity that he's paying, mashallah, Allah is giving him so much. Allah says that's not the case all the time in Quran. Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا. Those who deny our signs, سَنَسْتَدْرِجُهُمْ. We will draw them down step by step, imperceptibly into ruin. What does that mean? It's a process of istidraj. May Allah save us from that process. What is the process of istidraj? Being step by step, being taken into ruin. As Quran says, step by step. What is it? Imam Salih said, when a person, a believer, commits a sin, Allah loves his servant. He wants him to return to Allah. So when he commits a sin, He gives him an affliction, a problem in life, so that he turns to Allah and says, Ya Allah, please forgive me. But when a person, a sinful person who is denied the signs of Allah, commits a sin, not only he would not have a problem afterwards, he would even get more ni'mah, more wealth. Quran says, Imam said that when he commits a sin, he gets more ni'mah, more wealth. He commits another sin, more wealth, until he's all the way fully down at the bottom of the hell. This is the process of istidraj. And the person thinks to himself that he is a great person because he's earning more and more and more, but he's actually going through the process of istidraj, meaning that Allah has left him alone. If Allah had loved him, He would have given him problems in life so that he would return to Allah. The rest from Allah wa ta'ala is distributed, and we have to be submitted to the rest that He has given us, brothers and sisters. Now, this is all in regards to, if you remember last time we said that hadith that ar-rizqur rizqan. Amir al-Mu'minin said that there are two types of rest. One rest is a rest that is mutlaq, an absolute rest. meaning a rest that is already guaranteed and allocated. Allah has guaranteed that this is a rest for you. And there's another rest which is conditional, meaning that you have to do something, you have to take a step and do something to gain that rest. الرزق رزقا. رزق يطلبك. A rest that comes after you, that seeks you. Doesn't matter what you do, that comes. So you need to beg Allah, ask Allah to give you. It's not رزق مقسوم مضمون. It's not guaranteed. I would have nothing. And unfortunately, this is how we think. We think that rest is from us. And this is how we calculate. Okay, I have $4. If I give that out, I have nothing left. So I'm not going to do this. But Imam Salih alayhi salam told him, إِنَّ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ مِفْتَاحًا وَمِفْتَاحَ الرِّزْقِ الصَّدَقَةِ. Everything has a key. And the key to rest is sadaqah. And I was just married, alhamdulillah, at that time. I had just married. It was like the first or second year of my marriage. For some time, I know some of you would not believe this, but I will say it anyways. For some years, I was living by paying sadaqah. It was amazing for me that any time that my bank account, my balance was coming down, I would pay sadaqah. I'm not saying this to say, MashaAllah, Shaykh, you're saying this to. No. I'm telling you to encourage you to do this. This is something that I have experienced. It works. Believe me, it works. I have so many stories that you cannot believe with this. Whenever my balance came down, I paid sadaqah. And from, I don't know where the money came, alhamdulillah. I have so many stories with sadaqah. Once, I just tell you another one. I just made intention that I kill a sheep or animal, goat or something for the poor people at home. I made a decision. I hadn't had the chance to pay for the animal to be sacrificed, to be distributed amongst the poor people. I just had an intention. And 1 month passed by. One of my friends from England called me and said, Sheikh, I said, yes. After so many years, he called me and said, Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum, how are you? I want to send you 200 pounds. I said, what? You've never given me any money. Why do you want to give me money now? He says, I don't know why. I want to give you 200 pounds. And I calculated that 200. It was exactly the amount that I want to pay for that animal that was supposed to be sacrificed and given for the poor people as charity. It's so amazing. If you want your rest to be expanded, sadaqah is the way. You can experience it yourself. Another way to expand your rest is Man hasuna hasunat niyyatuh zadallah fi rizqih. Have good intention. You're sitting here, you're doing nothing. You make good intention. Make intention that you can dedicate to this center $1 million, for example. You have intention. If I could, I would have done that. Good intention would give you more rest. If I had money, I would have, for example, helped all the orphans who are in Afghanistan, for example. Make that intention. Allah will give you sustenance, rest. Man hasuna birruhu ahla baytih zida fi rizqih. Another way to expand your rest, according to our narrations, is to be good to your family members. Take them to restaurants, buy them gifts, have good akhlaq to them. Another way to expand your rest, according to our narrations, is to be awake from in bayn al-tulu'ayn, meaning from the adhan al-subh until sunrise. Imam Salih alayhi salam said that وَلِلَّهِ فَضْلٌ يُقْسِمُهُ مِنْ طُلُوعِ الْفَجْرِ إِلَى طُلُوعِ الشَّمْسِ وَذِكْرُ اللَّهِ بَعْدَ طُلُوعِ الْفَجْرِ أَبْلَغُ فِي طَلَبِ الرِّزْقِ مِنَ الضَّرْبِ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Staying awake after adhan subh, from Fajr, adhan subh, after you pray your morning prayers, stay awake until sunrise and say adhkar, recite Quran. Imam said, dhikrullah, in that specific time is a time that Allah looks at. He has extra amount of rest and He sees who is awake and praising Him and praying to Allah, He gives His extra rest to those people who are awake during that time, from Adhan Sub until sunrise. And also there are things that would shrink our rest. For example, bad akhlaq, having bad akhlaq and morals at home is something that would shrink our rest, or some of the sins like lying would shrink our rest. Now the concept of rest is something that we need a lot of nights to talk about, but I wanted to talk about the most important concepts in regards to rest. The last point that I wanted to mention in regards to rest is that, brothers and sisters, do not forget that we believe that every rest, sustenance that you get is a sustenance that is signed and delivered to you by Imam al-Mahdi Ajjallahu Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala. As we have in the narrations in the dua, بِيُمْنِهِ رُزَقَ الْوَرَى. It is by His blessing that we humans are getting our sustenance. Every sustenance that you will get, it is through Imam al-Mahdi Ajjallahu Farajahu al-Sharif. That's why we need to appreciate him and thank him for his being. One of our scholars, Mullah Zayn al-Abidin al-Salmasi, he was a scholar that used to live with Sayyid Bahr al-Ulum. Sayyid Bahr al-Ulum is one of our greatest scholars in the Shia history. He was very knowledgeable, and for some time he lived in the city of Mecca. And you know, the city of Mecca has always been the habitant of non-Shias, mostly Sunni populated. So Sayyid Bahr al-Ulum went there to have discussions with non-Shias and have some of his classes in the city of Mecca. And he was very generous in giving money to poor people, to his students. And he had the same manner also in the city of Mecca too, giving money out to the people. One day, his student was with him, Mullah Zayn al-Abidin Salmasi. He says that I came to Sayyid and say, Sayyid, we are not living like back home in Najaf or Karbala, where there are a lot of Shia businessmen who can help you and support you. We are living here in Mecca. There's no one here to help you. Meaning that go slow and giving out money. We don't have much left, basically. We don't have much left, so please. He said nothing. The next day, as it was his daily schedule, he used to go every morning to do tawaf around Kaaba and come back to his room and sit for the students to come. He went and did his tawaf, came back to his house and went to his room and was waiting there, and someone knocked on the door. He told me not to exchange store, the place where they exchange money, near the Mount Safa, and give that person this check and get some money. I said, fine, I'll do that. So I went to that, I found that store by the Mount Safa. I found that person, I gave him the check. He looked at the check and he kissed the check. He put it on his eyes and said, Inshallah, I'm at your service. Go bring 4 men so I can help you giving you this money. I brought 4 men to help me, and back then there was French coin that was the currency. So he gave me 4 bags full of coins, and we took them back to the house. I was confused, like, what happened? Whose check was this? So I thought to myself, the best person to ask would be that person who gave me the money, the person in the store. So I went back to find the store and asked the guy. It seemed like you knew the guy who wrote the check because you kissed it and you loved it. He says that I went back. Everywhere I looked, I didn't find the store. I asked the local people, where is that store? They said, what is store? I said, the strangest store, it was right here. I said, there's no such a store here. I came back to the house. I met Sayyid Bahr al-Ulum. Sayyid, what is happening here? I'm confused. Please tell me. He said, Mullah, do you think that we have no master, no Sayyid and Mawla? Imam al-Mahdi Ajjallah Farajuh Sharif, he is our master. And he supports us and provides us and sends us his sustenance. Brothers and sisters, every sustenance, every rest that we are gaining in our life is through the Imam of our time. Even on the day of Ashura, when Shem La'natullah alayh was sitting on the chest of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, every breath that he was taking, it was by the permission of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the Imam of his time. Inshallah, we learn, we understand the concept of rest so that we can appreciate the Imam, the presence of our beloved Imam Al-Mahdi Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajahu Al-Sharif. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. السلام عليك يا أبا